Welcome to MMA Fancast. My name is Luke Payson, and I'm honored to have first-time guest of the show, Cameron Sandoval. Cameron, welcome to the show.
Yeah. Thanks, sir. Thanks for having me.
It's great having you on the show. You were on the show for two reasons. One, you're coming off a big pro, your debut pro um, win, armbar, fantastic. You took on a guy with 5 pro fights. We'll talk about that. That's a huge step up for your pro debut just a couple weeks ago, actually, I think last week. And then you're under a month away, just a couple weeks away from your next pro fight. So
Yes, sir.
let's jump into it. For people that know 247, a lot of my followers know 247 Fighting Championships. You fought for 247 Fighting Championships back in May of 2022 against Edwin Vera, where you won by round one, guillotine choke in under a minute. And that was your last amateur fight. So if you could back up, take us from May of 2022, and then just briefly summarize how you got from there, your win over Edwin, to your debut against Will Spain last weekend.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Let's see. I started training in Reno, Nevada, and then I followed my coach out here to North Carolina. So that'll get you how I ended up in North Carolina. And then once I came out here, I was able to get a couple, quick fights, a couple quick wins, a couple quick kickboxing fights in. It was just real tough for us to find MMA fights out here, for whatever reason it may be. But got that one in Pennsylvania. That was a good fight, and we kind of knew that after that fight we'd probably be heading in the direction of looking for my pro fight, just because I've kind of been in the game a long time. I've fought a lot of fights, had my amateur championship fights. I've done all that stuff, so we knew that time was coming soon. And then we got that quick victory over Edwin Vera. And then I had a small injury. It was a quick fight, but I actually injured my shin a little bit in that fight. And I threw 2 low kicks, and I think one of them landed weird, and I actually kind of had a little bit of an injury in my shin. So then I think I took a long time off of MMA for a couple reasons. Coach was helping out a bunch of the younger kids, a bunch of the younger amateurs. We were getting them fights, and I was helping them out. So I actually had a long layoff between that fight and what was my pro debut last weekend. But yeah, I was training hard. And then I don't know if you know, I went to Thailand for 3 months. So Thailand, that was kind of like the pro fight camp. That was the main thing. So I spent a lot of time, saving up money for that. And I went out to Thailand in end of April, came back in July. So that I fought twice out there, two Muay Thai fights. So it's not, I think from May of last year till this last fight, that would be like 16 months of not fighting MMA. But luckily I fought twice in Thailand, so I was able to kind of kick some of the rust off and get out there and scrap with somebody. So I felt ready. I learned a lot out there. I trained hard, trained with some of the best in the world. And then I came back from Thailand. And I told coach, like, let's do it. I don't care who it is. Let's get the ball rolling. I've been in the game a long time. I put in my work. Let's just do our best. Let's send it and try our best, and then we'll see what happens with it. And got that one lined up, made quick work of it, and then we'll be fighting next weekend as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Or in 2 nights.
that's perfect. You're talking about Coach Kelly Anderson, and that makes sense now because I've had him on the show. He just had a big retirement fight after years away, coming back to end on a retirement fight. His wife, as you know, we got to see her fight for 247. Wendy, she's about ready to go pro. I think she's fought every weekend for 4 weeks in a row or something. It's been nuts.
Yeah. No, she'll be going pro.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having her back on the show to talk
She'll be
about
going pro for the next one, I'm pretty sure.
I think so. Yeah, I'm going to have her back on in a couple of days to talk about what's been going on with her. So it's a real honor to have you on the show because you're doing great, but also to kind of keep track of that. You guys where are you in North Carolina? Where are you guys in North Carolina?
We're in High Point, Greensboro area, the Triad.
Very cool. I know that in Thailand, all those fights, a lot of people go over, they're all pro rule fights. What was it like fighting? Because that's pro Muay Thai over there. So it makes perfect sense that you would come back and MMA has more. But as far as striking, Muay Thai has all the legal striking that MMA has, so it's a really good test. So what was that like being over there and having those pro Muay Thai rules?
I it was amazing. The rules didn't even really come into play. I was leaned into the moment so much, and I was having such a good time, and it was a dream come true for me to fight out there. So like I was trying to really be present in the moment and enjoy my time, and obviously scrap. I had one fight out there. After about 30 days, I had a fight, and I won that fight against a Thai, and I won that one. So that was a good one to like get out the bag. I fought a Thai in Thailand, and we got the win. And then my second fight out there, I fought a dude that was like 170 pounds because there's no real weigh-ins out there. So once I saw a 170-pound Canadian dude throwing elbows at me, I was like, oh, it's really not that bad. You slip an elbow just like you slip a punch, and if it lands, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. But that's why defense is important.
Yes, yes, that is why defense is important. Of course, a big confidence boost for you. Of course, looks like your last fight you weighed in at 127 pounds. Are you fighting primarily at flyweight or bantamweight?
Uh, the most likely we'll be sitting around. We'll be sitting at flyweight. Most likely we'll be sitting at flyweight because I had that tough weight cut. That was my first time ever making that weight cut. Even I never did that in amateurs, so I learned a lot during that weight cut, and but it was tough. So since this fight is so quick after that one, we were like, let's just do it at 35. Feel strong, feel healthy, and all that good stuff. But if I have a fight lined up, 6 to 8 weeks out, it'll most likely be a flyweight fight from here on out.
Well, that's a nice little adjustment. I just had an undefeated 3-0 pro flyweight on the show earlier today. Been a very busy day. You might have heard
Oh,
of him actually, Josh the Flying Hawaiian Pereira. Um, he's out
he
of
fights up
Ohio.
there 247.
He's not a little bit for 247, but he's out of Ohio. He's out of Matt Brown's Immortal Gym, which is in Cleveland,
Okay,
Ohio. You
gotcha,
guys may actually see
gotcha.
each other at some point. You're flyweight, he's flyweight, he's 3-0. You'll be 2-0 here soon enough. So who knows? The,
Oh,
the world's small when it comes to that. And of course, Kelly knows you have to travel. Obviously, your gym is very eager to take fights wherever the fights are. Let's talk about you getting the armbar for your pro debut win. You said yes to a guy who was coming into his sixth pro fight, had five pro fights before you, and it's your debut. Why say yes to Will Spann? And what was that 2 minutes like in round one when you got that armbar?
um, just I'll go back to I've been in the game a long time. Like I never fought as much as I would have liked to as an amateur. I would have liked to fight every weekend, but things don't work out like that. But with COVID in between and everything, like I've been in the gym for 5 years at this point. I've trained on the West Coast with some of the best teams out there. I've made my way down to South Florida and trained with some of the best teams out there. I went out to Thailand and trained with some of the best fighters on the entire planet. And I got 15 years of wrestling that I can always fall back to. Like it even like making the pro debut, it doesn't really matter. It's the same shit. I've been doing this stuff for a long time, and I'm ready to go. I've scrapped with some of the best, and I'm ready to go. We know I'm ready to go. And the biggest thing about this weight cut or the this fight was the weight cut. We knew that the biggest task was to make weight first of all. You know what I mean? And then I'm like I've never been the big guy ever. You know what I mean? And yeah, I might be a little bit big on for the flyweight division. And if it, I knew for sure if I got my hands on him and if it got into a grappling exchange, I knew that's where I would thrive 100%. Like even with the striking, I felt comfortable there. But with striking, it's kind of a little bit more up in the air, a little bit more danger. But I knew as soon as I would get my hands on him, I knew I would probably submit him in the first round, just like I did, and that's kind of how I went. He kind of engaged. I threw a hard body kick at him, and I could tell. I saw a little grimace, and I could tell it hurt him right away. And then he kind of engaged in the clinch, and I could just feel. I just felt stronger. I knew I was just a better grappler from that little exchange in the clinch. I pushed him to the cage. I picked his ass up and slammed him like nothing. It felt amazing, and then yeah, I knew I was gonna submit his ass. I'm actually not really an armbar guy. I'm not really, that's not really my go-to submission. I was thinking Kimura, he kind of sat up in a weird way. And then it was real easy for me to fall back into that armbar. And I think, like I said, I think after the big body kick in the beginning and the big slam and me kind of controlling him, I'm pretty sure Will Span was like, "Oh, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here and move on to the next one," because I think he knew. So it was good. I'm ready. I'm ready for my next one. I'm ready for a scrap. Honestly, I would like to go, longer than the first round. If it goes that way, then I'll be happy to scrap with somebody. Honestly.
Sure. And so that's exactly what is great about talking to you now. You're right after your pro debut win and just a couple weeks away from your next pro fight. That makes a lot of sense with how well you're doing and kind of how long you've been waiting to go pro. What's cool about that is you're 24 years old. So while I know to you, you've been in the fight game a long time, what's great is you're still young to be a pro. You're now 1-0. If everything goes right, you'll be 2-0. You'll be 24. You could potentially have 8, 9 fights by the time you're 26. And we're seeing more and more Dana White Contender Series when guys are 7-0, 6-0, 7-1, 7-2, and in that 26 age range, 25, 26. That's where Dana White Contender Series has become a great channel for young guys like you that build up a great record. So kind of like in the first 5 to maybe 8 fights. So you got a lot of future ahead of you. It's been a joy having you on for the first time. I love following your gym down there with your coach Kelly. I've met them in person, obviously, when Wendy fought up for 247, and I love the fact that even though I'm up here in Pittsburgh, I get to follow you in your gym. That's kind of what I hope to do, continue and follow you throughout your career. Maybe our paths will cross in person, but the fight game is so fun to follow. So really appreciate you coming on. For the people down there in that triangle of North Carolina, please subscribe to the MMA Fancast channel, because I'm going to have you on again in the future. I'm going to have Wendy on in a couple of days. I really want to be following your gym quite a bit going forward. So thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
It's been great. You've been listening to Luke Mason for MMA Fancast with the undefeated, victorious in his pro debut, Cam Sandoval. Thanks so much, Cam.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you.
You too, sir. All right. Bye-bye.